Yeah, it's Thursday. You know what time it is. Microphone for peace here. That's the legendary Kwame spit right now. Your very talents misuse. You see yourself in a situation that you facing what's erasing and chasing a stand. Largando o aço, não compasso, no sentido bom. Pelo nosso espaço, peço paz e faz sentido o som. Disparando o verso, não parando expresso, nossa expressão. Diamante se formando na pressão desse cotidiano. Ele não era mais medo no enredo, não arredo. Do estúdio pros moleques, não embora mais cedo. On the grind, not hard to find. Pen and pad, onto the paper for some peace of mind. We are the hip-hop love family. Stand up if you're rocking with what we do. Turn it all the way up, that's true. This is microphone for peace out to you. We are the hip-hop love fans, the crew. Stand up if you're rocking with what we do. Turn it all the way up, that's true. This is microphone for peace out to you. There's heaven to these melodies, the medicine's embedded. Been looking for some inner peace, but heat is all I'm getting. Microphones upstairs. Hydration, elevation. No therapist could ever fix the stress that I've collected. They seem the least effective, hence I'm leaving beats beheaded. It seems aggressive, but at least the people feel connected. Be the best at speaking is the reason that I'll get this weapon. Hip-hop saved me, hip-hop raised me. Up in the air is what hip-hop gave me. Universal love around the world, any street, where the legends and the dreamers and the coaches own me. It's the beat when it hits cuts from the DJ. Untold stories about surviving every day. It's a free soul on the spot and the cipher that don't stop. Tags turned into pieces, that's a microphone for pieces. This is beyond intentions that we said. It's practices perfected, lessons and confessions. A message for the many that they require a blessing. This is for your soul to digest and reflect it back to us. It's immaculate, the cipher after us continues long after we're gone. It keeps the facts in check.
What up, what up, what up?
Globally, if you know me, then you know that I see all y'all as worthy and worthy. Hip-hop love fam, the crew. Stand up if you're rocking with what we do. Turn it all the way up, that's true. This is microphone for peace out to you. We are the hip-hop love fam, the crew. Stand up if you're rocking with what we do. Turn it all the way up, that's true. This is microphone for peace out to you. You got to live and learn before your bridges burn. Love is our big concern. Peace is what we can earn if we come together collectively, work with each other effectively, treat one another respectively as it was meant to be. A harmony that could be.
What up, what up, what up?
Bring me peace or bring me nothing. Give me peace if you giving me something. Watch yourself, protecting my mental health and my energy is clear to me. So keep the negativity away from me. We see with clarity, speak with integrity. The divinity speaks.
What's good? What's good? Leo Bars is good.
Microphone for peace popping up everywhere like Marco Polo. Turn this weapon of mass destruction, took you to a blacksmith. Now it's spitting beautiful verses, words of encouragement, hip hop in its essence.
No doubt, no doubt. Enough respect on the support for hip hop love, man.
You know what it is. You see us come together, put it down for the kids. We gon' keep it bubbling like soda pop is. And a strong foundation to outlast the years.
Our guests will be on in a couple minutes. They're just setting up, but we here today. Tonight, another episode of HHL Mic Check Thursdays. Every Thursday, we have a special guest on. Talk about some of the projects we collaborate on with Hip Hop Loves. Talk about their careers. And, you know, just chop it up, man. Have a good vibe, a good time, you know. Throw another track on. Yeah. track here is called Hip Hop Loves Avengers, a remix featuring the clips from Stars of Beyond, Just the God, SirHighlight, Justina from Iran, MC Shug from Russia, and DJ Ready D from South Africa. Yo, what's good? What up? What up? Came on right when your verse came on.
Yes, sir.
What's good, man? HHL Mic Check Thursdays, another episode here. Here's the Global Plug, and we have our special guest tonight here, SirHighlight from Brooklyn Lounge. What's good?
Life is good, man. Happy to celebrate another week in the life of.
No doubt, no doubt. What's been going on? How's your week been going, man?
Week's been good, man. You know, the LB Leo bars in the building. Got to shout them out real quick.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, happy to get a couple more Time Is Now videos out for the single that's been out and the album that's been out.
Mm-hmm.
And looking forward to where we're going to take it. You know, this is just the beginning. The album just came out. So, you know, I know you're doing a lot of work. I'm doing a lot of work. We're all trying to promote the album and stuff like that. So I think part of the week was filled with that. And, yeah, just getting some of my own pieces of my album right. Finishing some last songs with that, with Majestic the God, who produced the album for Freedom as well. So me and him had a good meeting on Tuesday about the album we have and how we're going to roll it out, finishing the last few songs. So
talk about the album, like talk about the album. It's good, man. Just been real productive, man. But yeah, man. Talk about this album that you're recording. Like, what you know? You have a title for it? Like, what's the vibe? Do you have a release date or anything like that?
Yeah, release date's gonna be next year for sure.
Okay.
The album is called Ill, and every track on the album is gonna be an acronym or a tracronym. And we're gonna like hold a contest for people to guess all the tracks and see if they can get the acronyms right. And we're working out all the legal details of like how we can make that happen and also fall within the guidelines of like, you know, you can't really run like a lottery in a sense and like always give cash prizes and stuff like that. So we got to work within New York State and the United States like that and figure out for something like this how that would all work. So we're getting into that and, you know, making sure that all the music is cleared, all the sounds are cleared. You know, sometimes you get sound packs. They may use samples, that stuff like that. So working out all those details and we've been working on it for a few years. It was originally going to be 8 tracks, but as we started doing this album, Freedom, what else we started doing was thinking about the album we have together because we think it's a really dope concept and we have never seen anyone do it in hip hop before. So we were like, why don't we expand that? And actually, LB Leo Bars is on one of the remixes. I see Jamel Knight's in here. He's on one of the tracks as well.
What up, Jamel?
You know, so I got a lot of the heavy hitters on there and just wanted to make sure we rounded it out. I felt like the album was good, but it was a very like New York boom bap album, which I think is a part of my brand, but isn't the whole brand together. So I wanted to expand, like there were no real female voices on it in the original pack of 8 songs, you know? So I wanted to like have some songs where there's a female singing, have some females rapping, you know, and include like those parts of my life that I very much support through the album.
Okay.
So it took a while to figure out, okay, how are we going to do that, but also make it organic and make it sound like it's supposed to be on the album. Like we didn't want to just like fit something in and be like, oh, we want to get more diverse, so here's just a track with a woman. Like that's
right.
You know, the vibe is it has to be cohesive, it has to make sense. So we wanted to take the 8 tracks we had and then it took a little more time because we were kind of retroactively doing it. But shout out to Majestic the God and shout out to Fredo 180, you know, masters of the craft. Able to hear things I'm not able to hear sometimes, you know. Even just little tweaks like do it a little bit like this, you know, redo the verse like that. You gotta swag a little more on it, or you know what, you're not in the pocket.
Yeah.
Maybe rewrite this part, go back. And it's like, all right, cool. And as an artist trying to take that feedback and just improve my craft through their ears, you know. Fredo 180 just did AZ's last album. He's worked with us a bunch. He's worked with guys like DJ Absolute and, you know, just New York heavy hitters across the board. I think recently, I don't know what social media it was, but he was top 5 engineers in Washington Heights.
Washington Heights. Yeah, Majestic, the guy was talking about that and the previous episode about that. It's super dope.
Yeah.
Let's go rewind a bit about this like lottery thing you're doing. So like you're giving out like cash prizes for the album?
So it's not a lottery. Exactly. So that's the thing. There's basically out of the, let's call it 15 tracks, right? That are going to be on the album. Everyone's going to be a trackronym, a track that's an acronym. So some of them are easy, like IDK or NYC, right? So
they could be, or maybe not, depending upon what you make the acronym.
I mean, no, I'm saying as the artist, there's not going to be any like tricks or stuff like that. Like I'm not trying to trick anyone. IDK will be I don't know, because that's just
right.
You know, like, or if I spell the word your YA and you spell it your, I'm not going to, you know what I mean? It's not about that.
You're not going to make it complex.
Yeah. No. It's about, you got to at least get the word right. You know, how you spell a general idea. You know, like I'm not going to spell your with a U, which is very common. It's going to be spelled with a Y if I use, or like if ILY will be like, I love you. I'm not going to spell it with a U to try to trick anyone. It will be spelled ILY because that's how you spell you. Mm-hmm. So some of them are going to be harder. You know what I mean? To guess what they are and playing parts of the songs and exactly how much of a prize you can give away or what the prizes should be. I've just, during the light research I've done, because first I want to finish the album before I delve too deep into it, but I just found that there could be some legal issues with just giving away cash prizes on like a big scale. It's like $50 is probably okay. But with 15 trackronyms, I was thinking of giving like a really big cash prize. I won't say the number because it's irrelevant at this point, but just to think of something else I could do with it. Maybe I press some vinyl, give that away, you know. But I was thinking cash because people want cash.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No doubt.
So if you put a bunch of cash in someone's hands, that helps the credibility. Or maybe doing a raffle thing where you sell tickets or something like that. But that also becomes, maybe do it through a GoFundMe. So we're just sorting out different ways of how it makes sense so that no one gets in trouble. You know?
Right.
That's definitely the key thing. And just to make it fun and easy for people to do it. So I kind of came up with this concept, I don't know, a few years ago, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, you know, and it just started with ill, which is just something I've used over the course of my career, which is I love life, which is a concept I have that we're all ill trying to heal, but the only way to heal yourself is to love your life. So there's that dichotomy, like life and death. So that was the concept, and I've had that concept for like 10 or so years or something, but decided to make it an album. And then it just kind of continued on this path slowly but surely.
Yeah, I mean, one thing Leo said of like, you know, having let me just go back. Constructive criticism and the response is key. I mean, it's definitely good that you have, you know, like Majest, Fredo, good people in your corner that can tell you when something's dope, but they can also tell you something when it's whack, or, you know, like, you know, you got to improve it, or like tighten that up, because you'd be surprised a lot of artists do not have those type of people in their camps. You have these yes men or yes women, and then, you know, sometimes, you know, you can have some really dope stuff come out from there, but other times you can have some trash come out, and you know, no one's being honest and telling them that it's trash. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's, you know, it's dope that you have a, you know, you have a good inner circle like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's so important. And, you know, being in the game a long time now, like over 20 years, I've worked with a lot of people, and I've always been the type of person where kind of wanted a more like Gangstar situation, like a DJ Premier, where it's like, we're kind of in a room, you know, we're going to work out this sound together. You know what I mean? So there have been a couple of people I've tried this with and failed, or hit brick walls or whatever. And as you get older, you also can tell a good chemistry. You know, you're a little wiser about what good chemistry is and why it is that way.
Absolutely.
Because how they give the criticism is also big. It's not to criticize just to criticize, it's to criticize, like LB said, constructive criticism, where it's like, all right, you're kind of hitting the pocket, but maybe slow down a little, maybe do it this way a little, maybe put this flair on it. And we're just going to get a few takes. And if it don't work, it don't work. And also giving the creative space with the criticism to go, okay, now I'm going to give you time to try that, because you may not get it on the first try, some new information, you know?
Yeah.
But always pushing the needle forward to keep the record going.
You know, one of my favorite books is Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements. And one of the first agreements is don't take things personal. And, you know, it goes into that when it comes to criticism. As long as you don't take it personal and you can listen to it and hear it out and take it for whatever it is, you know, that's the best thing. I mean, in all facets of life, you know, especially with music. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I'm so grateful to have them, and it's really because of you. Global plug in action again. You know, because I met Fredo and Majest working with Hip Hop Loves. You know,
I mean, it's crazy. Like, even connecting with you was like what, 2012-ish or something like that. Like close to 15 years now, man. Yeah, it's it's crazy to think that time is just, you know, gone by so fast within that. You know.
Yeah, I remember doing handstands in your living room in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Words.
Yeah.
That was a fun house, man. I think about that spot, man. That was like, I remember that winter in New York was brutal, man. And I was like, man, I was thankful to have a house like that. You know, I had two roommates, but actually four. It started off with two, and then just kind of people migrated coming from different cities and just kind of crashed. And you know, we used to have meetings and just chill, and it was a good vibe in there. Yeah, a lot of good ideas came out of there too,
and it was a prime location too. You were in the midst of everything. It was.
That's true. Yeah, it's cool, man. Yo, so talking about Thursdays, you know, we got HHL Mic Check Thursdays, but you know, we have you have something that's been pretty special called Thursdays Verse Days. Why don't you tell the people a little bit about that? Like, I'd love to hear how you even came with the idea and started, you know, just to start it.
I mean, shout outs to the pandemic. You know, that's really what started it. At least the revival of it. So I just dropped the last one. It was week 335. And I had actually started this concept about 17 or so, maybe even like 20 years ago, actually. I was living with an ex-girlfriend out of college. We were college sweethearts, and we were living in New Jersey. And I just started doing this, just random verses. It wasn't called Thursday Verse Day yet, though, but I would just like drop a bunch of verses or spoken word on Facebook. Facebook was a big platform at the time because MySpace had just died. So that's how long ago it was. So as that evolved and Instagram started getting big, a few years later, I called it Thursday Verse Day because I was like, all right, what would be a good day to do it? Everyone does Friday. Everyone does Freestyle Friday. I was like, oh, let's do it Thursday Verse Day, because when a lot of people think freestyle, they think off the top of the dome, you know? And I'm more along the lines of like the Big Daddy Kane thinking, where like a freestyle could just be a written verse that's free of a style. Like there's no hook or song or melody to loop in the verse. It's just a verse I wrote, and it's dope, and it can go over a lot of beats. So it is free of a style. But I feel as that definition waned, more people consider a freestyle, at least live on social media or whatever, to be, they think off top of the dome. When you think of verse, you know, written for sure. So I did like 16 or 18 weeks of this Thursday verse day I created about 15 years ago. And then I didn't really have any idea where to take it, to be honest. I just kind of hit a wall and wasn't really gaining the traction I wanted to, and just kind of deleted it off social media. Just because it was like, all right, if you know, you know.
Okay.
And people would then ask me about it as time went on, weeks went on, or months or years went on. Yo, what happened to Thursday verse? That was actually kind of dope. Like, you should do that. And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm going to try and write songs. And I was working with other producers and engineers and, you know, going through the life of an artist, going to big studios, small studios, basement studios. And through that journey was just trying to make songs and focus more on songs. When the pandemic happened, it was like everyone's home. If there was any time to revive Thursday Verse Day, this would be the time. So I felt like it was the very least I could do if we all have to stay home in 2020 to do this. And of course, I wasn't the only one. And actually, I have found this other guy named Jackpot. He does Thursday. He doesn't call it Thursday Verse Day. He calls it Jackpot Thursdays, I think. He does a verse, and he's been doing it for like 2 years longer than me. He started in like 2019 or 2018. And we like talked a little bit. I found him like just through like the algorithm and stuff. I was like, yo, this is fucking dope, man. You know, I'm doing what you're doing. Like, we should collab or something. Nothing's happened yet, but so I knew like, yeah, there's Freestyle Friday, but I'm going to add my little flavor to it. And it's a way to keep the sword sharp, you know, and if I'm going to take this serious, I feel like this is the least I could do to add to the narrative. And that gives it more of a runway to have an end goal later. And as opposed to like, okay, it's 18 weeks. What do I do? It's like, well, I'm here for at least 100 weeks was how I went into it. Because I knew the country was going to be shut down for at least a few months. So I'm going to dedicate at least a year to this. As I did that, there were some videos that got traction. One of the videos got over 100,000 views. Some other videos got, 5 figures and stuff like that. So
nice.
There was times where it was small. There were times where it got big and got small again. That's just the ebbs and flows of social media and life sometimes. So, but we reconnected through that. I've reconnected and connected with a lot of other people just having it. And it definitely gives you the ability to walk into a label or a room and be like, I can create different concepts on the spot. How do you know? I've had this for 335 weeks,
Man, it takes a lot of dedication to do something like that for, 6+, that's like 6.5, like 6+ years, like, 35, over 7 years. Like, so like, and you said so you do them, like, you just record them on a weekly basis. So you don't like record a whole bunch of them and save them and then line them up, or like, how does it work?
I tried doing that, and a lot of people did suggest that, and that may be a more efficient way of doing it in the sense of like, you can kind of just block out a day and do a bunch of them. But I feel like hip hop is so relevant to culture in general. And I'm deep in hip hop culture. So when, like, let's say a Nipsey Hussle album drops, which just did, I wouldn't be able to just do one of his beats because I wouldn't have the pattern and the flow state of my week. I would have a flow state where once a month I do 4 videos or 8 videos and I have them in the chamber. But then when something happens, how am I going to get that done? At least for me, like I have to block out my weeks and months like that. So I've tried that before. I've done that. And I also felt like sometimes they just get a little stale. And it's good to be able to, sometimes it becomes political or about the economy or sociology or something, an event that happened to society. And I want to have the freedom to talk about those things. And part of the skill set I'm trying to build is if I'm put in a room to perform or to write, I can do it on the spot.
Gotcha.
I have to practice that skill set to get it. That's something I kind of learned through doing Thursday Verse Day. It's like, all right, this is actually a skill set. And actually, when you make it in the industry, your first opportunity is usually someone who just meets you and is like, okay, I like you. Go in this room right now. Here's a beat. It's a Jay Dilla beat. It's a Knots the Ruler beat. It's a Dr. Dre beat. It's a Premier beat. Write something to this beat right now. I don't care. Whatever you need, you better have it on you. And you better be ready to go. I'm not going to wait till later or tomorrow. No. So starting to learn that about the industry when I did, it was like, so I need to build that skill set. The only way to build a skill set is to use the skill set. So I feel it also allows that pressure for like, okay, if I was put in a room, how would I get this done? This is how I would get it done. And this is like living proof of me being able to get it done. As well as if they've never seen this before, they could just put me in a room and I will have the confidence innately because I do it so often, you know?
Right. That's dope, man. So, I mean, that's got to be pretty, like, I mean, you have to, I'm sure doing something like that for over 300 weeks, man, and you're doing it on the fly. I mean, and life takes you on different roller coasters, man. So, I mean, to be able to figure out, like, yo, I mean, and you pretty much keep it Thursday evening, like you mostly put it out, like, at a particular time, you know, I mean, even before logging on, like, you know, when I got on the gram, like that's the first thing that popped up on my feed, which is Thursday's birthday. I was like, he popped that one out before the interview, you know. So, I mean, yeah, it must. I mean, I guess talk about like some of like the challenges sometimes when you have to deal with life and like getting it done. I mean, but I'm sure it's such a routine now for you to do this. Like, you can kind of. It's like muscle memory, somewhat to do it as well to a degree, I would imagine. What up, Tali?
Yeah, it's one of those challenges, kind of like going to the gym. The hardest challenge is just showing up there.
Yeah.
And once you get into that space, it's like, oh, this is what I love to do. Oh, yeah. It's not like I forgot, but it's like I'm not always in that space to be creative. Sometimes you got to deal with life, business, and friends and family and other stuff, and they just don't want to hear it. So, you know, it's once I get in that space, it is just letting the tools work for themselves, you know, and the challenges become things like work or, yeah, like you said, life. And I think when you have an anchor, though, it's almost like more stuff wants to happen on a Thursday since I started Thursday Birthday than ever before. Which kind of also, once again, played into the mentality I was saying before, which was maybe the point of this is to learn how to do it on crunch time. Maybe the point isn't to make it like all my songs where every word has to be very, very thought out, put hours of work into each verse, you know, spend weeks and months fine-tuning. That's great for a song. That's one skill set. This is a different skill set. So every line doesn't have to be the most fire line of all time. Every rhyme scheme doesn't have to be completely innovative to blow people's minds. Sometimes you just got to flow on it. And that's a skill set that I learned like through this, like how to get into different pockets and not be so caught up in like what I think the best hip hop is or what I think the best rap is, and to pay more attention to like the vibes around me, including the song, and like what pockets does that call for and how many of those can I hit, you know? And then it's really fun, actually. It's actually more fun that way, you know?
It's dope. That's dope. I mean, you know, I would imagine you have to enjoy it that you've done it for so long. I mean, like, you bring up the gym routine, which is true. Like sometimes, you know, you just might not be in the mood, just like anything in life, you know, but you have to show up, man. But that's pretty dope, man. It's dope, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you can show up, to give yourself the grace like that, especially I'd say within the first 150 weeks, there's probably like a handful of weeks that I just didn't make it. One of them, I was in a jail cell. One of them, I was just super sick. One of them was life, you know, and just like, yeah, shit be happening. people are generally, if you're consistent, pretty forgiving and pretty just like, yeah, man, you're super consistent. So
You should have asked. You should have asked You should have asked the bondsman for your phone that you had a commitment, man. Just get.
I know.
for
You weren't trying to do that. He didn't even want to hear I was a vegan. He was like, none of that matters to me.
Anyhow, let's get to some more positive shit. Yo, so talk about like I know you've been a part of hip hop for a while. Like, where did that start? Like, what made you become an MC? Like, how, talk about your journey. As far as that's concerned.
So I would say, I grew up in New York City. I was born in '84, so I came up with Run DMC, the Beastie Boys, Slick Rick, and No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Being from Brooklyn, my family on both sides are from Brooklyn. I'm a fourth generation New Yorker. That was kind of like our unofficial theme song. So
shout out the Beastie
got
Boys.
Me into hip hop via the Beastie Boys, who were like definitely more of a mixture, but Run DMC's proteges for sure.
Sure.
So we were also into Run DMC and Slick Rick, and it was a lot more rock in my house, but they also love Prince. They love disco. So it was kind of more along there. I didn't really get too much into like the early 90s, Chuck D until later, or Tupac or Biggie until later.
Mm-hmm.
I was like 8, 10, 12. I couldn't understand a lot of what they were talking about. And
Gotcha.
Marine Park, where I grew up, was a predominantly white neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So they weren't playing a lot of Tupac. And as I got into high school, I had friends slipping Eminem tapes, Mos Def, a lot of Ruckus Record stuff. And there was this, there's this thing called Sing that they do in New York City high schools, which isn't everywhere, but basically it's a play that's completely written by the students, directed by the students. They take popular songs, they rewrite the lyrics, they create dances and choreography to it, and then it gets judged by the teachers and deans. And usually they do freshman, junior, sophomore, senior in a lot of schools. Like there's only 2. There was 3 in our school. So it was freshman and sophomore 1. They had junior and senior. So I had done it freshman and sophomore year. My first role was the ghost of John Lennon. The second role, I played a nerd sophomore year. And I crushed it so bad that the third year, they were like, we got the perfect role. You don't even have to audition. I was feeling real hyped that day. And they were basically like, you're going to be a rapping narrator. You're going to be like a Beastie Boys style rapping narrator. So that's how I was already into music. I was like in orchestra playing stand-up bass. I tried my hand at guitar a little bit and writing some songs, and just nothing really stuck for me personally. And mind you, this is the year 2000. So hip hop itself is also kind of at like every year is hitting a new peak. After Biggie and Pac died, it just exploded. And then there were old Biggie verses coming out and Pac songs coming out, and it was some of their most incredible work. And I'm 16 and very impressionable. And Ruckus Records is crushing it. So as I was doing this role, more and more people, I also played football in high school for like a year and sat with a couple of football friends at the lunch tables. Like, they'd be like, oh, I didn't know you were into hip hop. I'm like, oh, I like this and this. And they were like, oh yeah, I see you have the Beastie Boys patch on your backpack, but I didn't know you were into that. I'm like, people just started showing me stuff and it felt right and it felt good. And when I performed that year on stage, people were like, yo, you should do this. Like, you're good. And I just didn't look back.
Oh, that's what's up.
I got my name from playing basketball when I was 14. I was playing these kids who just were not really good, and I was just schooling the shit out of them. And they were calling me Mr. Highlight. They're all Mr. Highlight Reel. And every time they'd see me, they go, Mr. Highlight Reel, Mr. Highlight Reel. Yo, it's good. And when I started rapping, I had to think of a name. I always feel like a good name comes with a good origin story. So when I was thinking of shit, I was like, Highlight would be a good name because it's not just for me, it's like for my ideals. Like, I want to be able to be the highlight for myself and for other people, and to elevate myself to live to that standard, you know, which I feel like being an artist is about your ideals, not necessarily the day-to-day always monotony that life can be sometimes.
Sure. That's interesting. So then what happened? You knighted yourself and called yourself SirHighlight after that?
So the highlight, as MySpace came about, which was like a lot of people putting out music on MySpace, I realized that maybe I was not the only person whose nickname could be Highlight.
Highlight,
and
true.
Maybe there were thousands of other people across the United States who also happened to have the nickname Highlight.
Sure.
So I had to think of something else. So first it was Mr. Highlight.
Okay.
And I rolled with that for a little bit. But I started thinking about, okay, what would the initials be? And then King Highlight, Prince Highlight. There were a couple of other ideas that I had. Highlight the God. And I landed on SirHighlight because I liked the SH as a sh type of thing. I thought that was like a cool little, to be a boisterous artist, but also to have that is like a cool underlying subtext. And I feel more like I don't get to name myself a prince or a king. Everyone else can do that. If the audience thinks I'm a king, they will tell me. It's kind of like a Jordan never calling himself the GOAT. If you think I'm the GOAT, I accept. But I'm not going to call myself the GOAT because it's not my job. My job is to make the art and for the audience to tell me if they think it's great. You know?
So you talked about your Thursdays, birthdays, how kind of it, you kind of do some stuff, it's a bit of spontaneity in there. And it's funny because this week you just mentioned that you just did an improv yesterday.
Yeah.
So talk about spontaneity. So talk about that. How'd that go? How'd that go down? How'd that even come about?
Shout out to Sha Ya Ya, Melissa Harris, and all the cast members. They were all super dope. Man, I haven't done improv on a stage in over 20 years, since college. I was actually part of my college's inaugural improv group called Nuts and Bolts. We did I don't know, like a dozen shows together until I eventually quit for creative reasons. And it was super fun. I know Melissa through my friend Steve. We've just hung out a few times. She thought I was kind of funny. You know, we thought about writing some sketches together. Hasn't happened. And then she was like, oh, I have this improv thing. Someone kind of dropped out. If you could fill in, that would be great. It was just supposed to be a small role. Then this lifeguard role dropped out. So it was basically kind of like an immersive improv. So it was at the Coda Hotel in Williamsburg. Okay. Cool. So I played like a lifeguard. And there was a bunch of like character acting. So essentially people built characters, like a swim instructor and a swim student. So the swim instructor was like smoking a cigarette the whole time, being very like over the top and giving the person very like odd things to do, like put your belly button to the sky and stuff like that. And that person's responding in an improv fun way. People are walking through, people who are just there to be at the pool, just to enjoy the pool, and just interacting with them, kind of like a sillier Fear No More. If you know Fear No More, kind of like an immersive theater thing. It's something like that, less touching, more just talking, gossip, like making stuff up about the other cast members and just like talking to people. I didn't do too much, to be honest with you. Shout outs to the other cast members. Some people were going super hard. There was also a lot of costumes. So one woman was dressed up like a piggy. She has her own like personal comedy show where she does like pig stuff, I guess. I don't know. And someone was dressed up as a rubber ducky. We had like rubber ducky things in the pool. So yeah, it was just fun. Have a good time.
So the hotel was like, so were people like from the hotel at the pool at the same time that you're doing this, or was it just shut down and you did?
Here's the thing. The pool is one of those, like, I don't think it's included with your hotel. Like, it's like $75 day pass to get in the hotel.
It's like
You
a
get
different
hotel
paid
for, like,
amenity to have. Okay.
yeah. From what I could tell. And also there was another, so there's this app called, I don't remember, Propel or Prosper or something like that. I can't remember, but they were having a party there. Parlor, I think it's called Parlor.
Okay.
And it's like a networking thing. So it's all over the United States, different big cities. And just people, they hold events in different places. So they hold events in Manhattan, in Brooklyn, in Queens. And then you can reserve, and you have like, it's like a membership based thing. So this one guy I was talking to, Freddie, he's like a med student. He's going to be a general surgeon. He was like, listen, everyone I've met here is like top of the game, or on their way up, on the rise, very good at what they do. But it's also kind of like, if you see someone you like, you can date them. You know?
Gotcha.
So it's like not strictly a networking thing. I don't know too much about the app, but that's just what I got. So they were having a party there last night. So it wasn't just hotel guests.
Gotcha.
And it was a Wednesday night. So most people on a Wednesday night, pool party is not really top of their list. Kind of more of like a Friday, Saturday night type of thing.
You never know in New York City on the summertime, though. You never know.
Yeah, you know, listen, people were there.
There. But I hear you. You never.
It was fun. You know,
That's it.
I got to be in a pool in a nice hotel. So
On a Wednesday night. And can't be mad at that, for sure.
Can't be mad at that.
So yeah, let's get into Freedom, man. You know, you were one of the executive producers of the project. You were featured on the, you did a bunch of features on the project. Talk a little bit about your experience, with, being an executive producer, also being an artist on the project, and just, about the project on a whole.
Yeah, I mean, shout outs to you, the Global Plug, for bringing all the artists together and the people together, and the consistency of compilations and projects, right? Because even to come up with the fun concept required all the projects we did prior to that, where we got everyone together and people saw a proof of concept coming to light. I mean, we've done projects for Haiti. We've done projects with Muhammad Ali. And we were already talking about like what would be a good idea, and fun was kind of a concept we kept coming back to that can get lost as we get older, just to have fun, but also to make it something deeper than that. So freedom, unity, nirvana are, the steps we take as human beings to reach better societies. So getting the Freedom Project together, especially I'm in America, so it was the 250th anniversary of America, so there was a lot of freedom stuff going on already, so that probably partially influenced all of this. But I think when people think about freedom in general, I think a lot of times they don't really know how to actually explain the concept in words. It's like just to be free. But I think freedom actually holds more of a connection that allows us to be free. It's a connection to the earth. It's a connection to others. It's a connection to your society. And in a healthy way, so that both sides of the coin are getting enough energy to make things work. And we were thinking about another project and what we could do. And we talked more about like giving people exact direction, and getting the people who were involved to really put their best foot forward, to allow us to put our best foot forward, and we got Carlisle Young to mix and master a couple of songs. I mean,
shout out Carlisle,
shout out Carlisle Young, shout out to Master Five, shout out to all the engineers and producers, Fredo,
Tamir Adams,
and I think a lot of it was, before we had so many people, so many projects, that we need to now distill that and be more selective but also allow people to know that, like, if you miss this, if you miss freedom, there'll be unity and nirvana.
Mm-hmm.
If you miss freedom and you miss unity, there'll be nirvana. If you miss all three, well, that's on you. We were given years of opportunities to hop on something with big, you know, in my opinion, real hip hop legends. Tony Black, Aloe Black,
Kwame,
Hakeem Green, Wordsworth, J Live, Romer Attack, RG50 rocket launcher, you know, like people around the globe. I can't think of all the names. I don't want to leave anyone out.
There's a lot of names.
Wordsworth, you know, like just and even if they just added 8 bars, you know, it's like that's special. So I figured if we really distilled that now and gave people the direction with videos and how to get things done, and everyone has better technology now. That's like another thing is where we started where we were 5-6 years ago in terms of technology. These type of mics, these type of cameras on phones, so much better now.
Yeah,
you know? 4K is like a standard, and it used to be just HD was the standard. You know, so all of that, it was like, okay, people have more access to do things, and if you want to be taken seriously, we've also been doing projects for years. You know what it is now. We're asking you to step up your game. If you cannot step up game, we get it, but we got to let people who can do that for the betterment of all of us, because if one song hits, every other song is going to get 10,000 plays on it.
It's true.
You know, one song hits 100 million, every other song at least is getting 10,000 plays, because at least 10,000 people are going to be like, who is this person? What else are they doing? You know? So,
for sure.
But it's a hard thing to get so many different language barriers, cultural barriers. There are some countries, some people we work with in countries where hip hop is basically banned. You know? Like real fucked up shit. And they're still making it work, you know? So we got to give those people the credit and ability to kind of stand at the forefront too, because it's like, yo, I live in America. We have plenty of access to hip hop culture. That's a luxury that I get to enjoy, you know? So kind of just wanted to make sure that this Project Freedom, which I think we accomplished really well, you know? Every song is dialed in. It took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of time. Project got pushed back a little bit, but that's how it be when you're independent sometimes. You know?
For sure. I'm glad that you mentioned about the whole, when you talk about freedom and then you're talking about the plight in the journey. Some people you go through within that, and that like for example, how access, like for example, we had an artist, Hadid from the whole Verso Pessoa family in Venezuela, and at the time when we were recording, there was that whole thing going on in Venezuela. We got invaded by like the U.S. and others, and she was having a hard time to be able to record.
Yeah.
Because of that, even like, we are, obviously, but like everyone has, like, we have group chats for different beat song, and like, the song she was on is called Help, the acronym. And, she was like, look, man, I got to get out of this group because, they're checking people's phones. And if they see something in English saying help, they can think something different, and it's interesting you talk about Rocket 5-6 in Russia. I was just talking to him yesterday, and he just finished doing a video clip for Time Is Now, a breaking video. And he was like, yeah,
wow.
I'm trying to hop on Wi-Fi to download it, to send it, and they're going through their war with Ukraine. And he's like, yo, there's some shooting going on, and he's like, yeah, I'm not able to send it as of yet just because of the Wi-Fi was janky. So, when you deal with stuff like that, or just having to be able to have access. I mean, even like we talk with, the project is going out to proceeds to help doing workshops here in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, but also to help do hip hop dance workshops in the Congo. We were just talking to Bush from the Invisible Kids, and he literally had to dip to Rwanda from Congo because they have people invading his area.
Wow.
And he's like, yo, I can't even bring all the kids from the project. He's just like, I'm just hoping everybody's okay. So,
Yeah, it's
that goes to say, we got a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot of dope stuff going on in the world. Don't get it wrong, too, but, we do have to acknowledge both, that there are some challenging times. And then, we also have to look at, our lives and look at, also have gratitude for like the things we do have, because sometimes the next person could just wish they had everything you had, as much as like we sometimes look at things and like, damn, I wish I had this X, Y, and Z. It's just like, so it's just kind of interesting, journey and pathway of life that we all have.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to the Congo and Rwanda and everyone in Africa dealing with a lot of stuff going on in Africa these past couple of years. A lot of good stuff and some bad stuff for sure. I hope everyone was safe.
I mean, same like everywhere, man. I mean, even like, I have these conversations like here in Brazil about the United States because a lot of people just think like the United States, they just look at media and stuff and they just think it's just kind of this wonderland. And like everybody's rich, wealthy, living great lives. And I'm like, yo, man, look at this. I had to show someone. I said, here, these are people in Gary, Indiana that haven't had power for like 2 weeks. What I'm saying? Like, and this is what and it's not a knock on you, but it's like there's reality checks. I'm just like, yo, like I talked to people, there's like a homeless problem in, Rio. I'm like, yo, there's a huge homeless problem in New York City. I'm like, I'm like, I was like, it's, but and then people are like, wow, I didn't know. I was like, yeah, of course you're not going to know that because that's not stuff they're going to promote. I mean, so it's just, all interesting when it, comes full circle about a lot of stuff like that. So there's always just some interesting dialogues that come out of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yo, so talk about you record like, some of the songs that you are a part of on the project. Like, what was your thought process around some of them? Was there any particular ones that really stood out for you, or like, how what was that process like?
I mean, I think Time Is Now definitely stood out for me, which is why we did the remix too. Just an intoxicating beat, just scream stadium anthem. And Majest really came through on the hook. I think once again we distilled the songs. We distilled what we've been trying to do. I think having basically one producer produce, he had a vision for how the overall album should sound. And I don't know if it started with Time Is Now, but I feel like that was the track that kind of became the cornerstone for what we're going to do to round it out to make it a full album. So I think from there, we were off and running because we were all vibing with Time Is Now. I think you gave it to a few people. I let a few people see it. Everyone who heard it was like, yo, this is a jam. This is going to hit. I think from there, Majest and Fredo just masters of their craft, just evil geniuses in a sense, master crafting each beat. And the beats I was on, some of them we just thought I'd sound right on it. Some of them we need someone to hop on. I was like, I'm gonna definitely hop on that. So things like the Avengers remix, I thought was really fun. I felt like with that one, I have this track called DMCEU, where it's a mixture of DC characters and the MCU. The DC and so it's like also some other cartoon characters mixed in there, because that's like one way to write a verse in hip hop, right? Is like squeeze as many names about the category into a verse. So I felt like a lot of people were going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, what can I do to kind of balance that out, to get a break from all the names? So I kind of made it more like an action movie flick, and then went with the White Panther, because there were actually White Panthers back
Yeah, man.
that helped the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
So, and Hollywood loves to put a white actor in black films anyway. So I kind of just ollie-ooped this for them. I will get no credit, I'm sure. But everyone could see that there could be a White Panther. Hollywood be doing that. So, you know.
You hired yourself?
It actually started with the line before, because it was like, what kind of vibe? And I was like, okay, when I said what kinda, I heard Wakanda. Like, okay, how can I make a Wakanda reference but make it make sense? And then I was like, okay, White Panther, that actually kind of works. And I haven't heard anyone say that yet, you know?
Yeah.
So that was super fun. I had a really, really good time with that.
Yeah, I remember listening to that the first time and listening to your verse, and I was like, "Man, how do you do that?" I was like, "That was pretty ingenious." I was like,
"Thanks, man. Yeah, it's the Thursday birthday effect, man. You know, just the constant writing also helped you get, you know, sometimes you just write filler lines. That's okay, and that gets placed into a lot of Thursday verse days. You know, sometimes you just write something that has nothing to do with anything but sounds fun. You know, that also gets you a place where you can hear things that sound fun better. You know,
but it's funny you mentioned
Real Now remix was, yeah, I think it was actually your idea for me and Majestic to go back and forth. So
yeah,
so we did that. That was super cool. And yeah, really hard for me to pick between the Time Is Now and Time Is Now remix, because when I wrote the Time Is Now verse, I was like, all right, this is it. And then when we did the Time Is Now remix with the back and forth, I was like, all right, how can I top that? And I love a good challenge. Nothing like a good creative challenge. And that's why, like, all the songs I was on, I felt they were creatively challenging, which was good, you know? And a lot of 8-bar verses, so that's also another challenge, is distilling it even further. But I feel like that's also what allowed us to get so many people to commit to better production, was it's not going to take you that long. It's like a 20-second verse. It should take you 20 minutes tops to record it, double it, ad-lib, whatever you want to do, sound effects. Half hour, you should be able to knock this out the park. So that I felt really helped get other people get their stuff in time, because you know better than anyone, artists be late with shit. So
it can, yes.
Myself included sometimes. Not timber stones from a glass house. I be in that category sometimes too. So, and especially 6 different continents, over 20 countries.
Yeah.
And once again, the cultural and language thing, you know, a lot of people also get the WhatsApp. Not everything's translated perfectly. So sometimes people have questions, I'm sure, and being able to answer them, it all takes time, you know?
Yep.
People getting their phone checked. It's like sometimes the last thing on their mind is a WhatsApp group, you know? It's like, are my friends and family safe? You know? That's the first thing on their mind. So, yeah, it's just been really educational as well. Learned a lot during the process.
Yeah, I want to get back to the 8-bar verses, because it's funny, it's interesting, and you know, directed to you as you're an MC, obviously. How, like, because in some ways, from perspective, you think, oh yeah, well, you only have to do 8 bars, so oh yeah, that's easy. Let me just do that. But yeah, and I also spoke to certain artists on certain songs. When they felt the beat, they're like, damn, I only got 8 bars. Like, I have to put everything I want to put into that 8 bars to make it sound right, you know. But then there's also the flip side of, like, it also did make it like a couple artists like, oh, okay, I only have to do 8 bars. Cool, I can just knock this out right quick, like because a lot of times people immediately assume like, well, oh, damn, I got to write a whole 16 for this, so I need to take the time to write the 16. And obviously, people, want to master their craft. They want to come out with something dope at the same time. So, like, how, what are your thoughts around that? On those things when it comes to that.
I mean, I feel like the 16 bar is the classic, right? So I think that's a standard for a lot of people. And depending on your writing style and your creative style, you may be someone who writes 28 bar verses because that's just your style, and distilling that down to just 8 bars can be hard for a person like that. And on the flip side, someone who can write a 16 real easy because maybe they're just swag heavy. They're not worried necessarily about metaphors or rhyme schemes or saying something slick all the time. There's just a message and they want it to be more direct. Then 8 bars is easier, And I think what makes it work is that everyone understood that there's 6 different continents, 20 plus countries working on this project. So, having everyone do 16 bars is just going to make not viable songs. Like, you get maybe 1 6-minute track on an album. Maybe.
Yeah. And we have one leading into that. I just mentioned, I was leading into my next question. Like, how was the process of like doing the microphone for Peace song and, looking at we have like 13 artists on that song and, just going through that whole journey with that.
So I think for that one, right, that one actually, because it makes sense. That one is still 8 bar verses. Just a lot of artists on it. And it's about a microphone made by Humanium Metal that took a bunch of guns and weapons and melted them down and made a usable microphone, a literal microphone for peace. So that world connection to the concept, I think, leads to having that many MCs on a track. It makes sense. It should be the 6-minute track. It should be the one that's kind of like a We Are the World, which is not, I don't think that song's 6 minutes, but something that is long and really makes you think and lets you hear voices from around the world and what they think about this concept. So if it was just a song like Time Is Now, that's a 6-minute Time Is Now, no bueno. But a microphone for peace, we could have made it 8 or 10 minutes, kind of like one of those K-Slay, just
K-Slay
on one track,
freestyles,
just 100 people, 30-minute song, and we'd have some leniency. So
for sure,
I think that aspect of a song these days plays into it. Like, what's the context? Okay, it's 6 minutes. Why? Why are there 13 MCs on it? I get that there's a lot of MCs, but why? Oh, because it's a microphone for peace that's actually being passed around the world. So it's actually touching different countries. So okay, that makes sense.
It's funny you mentioned that, a song being long because even someone had told, like a DJ hit me up, was like about Time Is Now. It's like, yo, I think the song is a little long. And I was like, really? And I was like, I get the whole 3-minute 30, play and all that. But when I look at it, I don't think it was that long because you have the intro of it. Like, so if you're going to go in and mix the song, about 20 seconds of the song or 25 seconds of the song is the intro, the Black Panther intro. But if you just want to get into the actual nooks and cranny of the song, I think it fits to that kind of 3-minute and 30-second range.
Yeah, and maybe we'll come out with a DJ mix, where we cut off the intro part, but we also want to make sure that was there to pay homage to our other albums, where we've had Malcolm X on tracks, we've had Muhammad Ali on tracks, Huey Newton,
Nelson Mandela, yeah.
Nelson Mandela,
Yeah.
you know. So our brand is also a brand that wants to make sure those voices are in the forefront. And it's
Sure.
not as common these days to do it. So, yeah, maybe it's a little annoying as a DJ to cut 30 seconds forward, but it'd be like that sometimes.
I didn't really, I mean, I just didn't think about it like that. I didn't think.
Of course, and neither did I. And bringing it up,
And I
like,
think about stuff, and I do think about stuff like that, but I just think in particular to that, I was like if the song was 4.5 minutes, I would have thought about it. A close to, that's something I'm like, yeah, man, this is a cool song, but it's kind of long for a lead single, but
Well, I think it's because these days music, a lot of songs have like a 4-bar or 8-bar intro, 5, 10, 15-second intro, and they're getting into it. And even during those 5, 10, 15 seconds, they're building a beat, This is a little deeper. It's something that touches your soul and then brings you to a stadium anthem. So a lot of times when you're doing something different like that, yeah, I think also it's a right reaction from a DJ who plays normal mainstream music to hear something that's creative and brings to the forefront a message first before we get into the dancing and having fun.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm only one person I heard it from, so it wasn't like this was something that was kind of like a collective feedback, but it was just interesting. And it was interesting from the person that came from, that said it. But then when I think about it again, I kind of get it for the format where they actually have their show on. So that I get. But I'm also understanding too, going back to where we are now in society, like everything is so like driven as far as like, when you got video reels, if you gotta hone it in 1 minute, or 1 minute 30 seconds, or like everything is so quick. You're going to the next thing, like you can have 20 things go viral today, and they're forgotten tomorrow, or within the next couple of days. Like you just have a whole other bunch of things that are getting a whole bunch of, the viewership and like, even I look at certain songs now, like you said, like, I see some songs that are hitting. I'm like, wow, that song's only like 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes. I was like, okay, so what do you kind of just have this like, I mean, yeah, it's a song, but then is it like kind of a melody like you're putting together, like, or is it like kind of like it's all and it's all good, where you come from with this because it's just hip hop, and like I think hip hop is this huge palette that you're just constructing all these images or masterpieces of audio, whatever the case, whatever it is, dance, culture, whatever it is. So do you when it comes to that? But it's just interesting when it when we're looking at all that now, like in 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think things ebb and flow,
Sure.
And it's beneficial to the record labels to make songs shorter so that they can pump out more artists with more songs.
That's true.
If you have a 30-minute block, you could put 15 songs, 15 2-minute songs as opposed to 10 3-minute songs. So you could push 15 artists instead of 10. You got 50% more artists you can push in a half-hour span. So like for them, it's fantastic. And I think there are some songs that are super dope like that.
Yeah.
At the same time, Kendrick Lamar swept the Grammys last time. Killer Mike swept the Grammys the one before. There is something to the balance of substance as well. And some songs being longer on your album to elevate your 2-minute songs into a reason why it's there, because I think everyone likes to have fun. Nothing wrong with a 2-minute song. 2-minute songs are dope.
Yeah.
But if your whole brand is only 2-minute songs, it gets old quick. The same as if you have a friend who only likes to party, and can never sit down and have a real conversation with you. That gets old pretty quick. It's like, oh, I know what you want to do. You want to go out till 4 a.m. I got work tomorrow. Well, I'm just tired. I don't want to do that tonight, but I know that's all you want to do.
Yeah, for sure.
There's just a time and a place for that. And I think it'll come back to, I think probably 3 or closer to 3 minutes is probably, I think, the sweet spot for general mainstream songs.
Yeah.
So I think the 2-minute move will start to flow back to like the 3-minute mark, because I think people are going to want a little more verses and substance, and not just hooks and catchy stuff all the time. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think part of that just becomes like piggybacking on what you're saying. Like, I think that when it's a little lengthier, it more so becomes more of a lyrical type of vibe. Like when people have like there's some type of message, like I'm thinking about it right now. Like when I think about a lot of songs, like a lot of songs. Like if you looked around, like like golden era age, like everything was kind of like about 4 minutes around that time, more so. And I can think of one particular song that was like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and that was Naughty by Nature. Not Hip Hop Hooray.
OPP?
No, not that. It was on Juice. The name of it will come to mind, but that song I remember was like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and I was like, wow, like usually just you're not used to those songs, a song that short, but it was popping, so yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and I think there's always been kind of a place for those short songs. They've probably been scattered throughout hip hop history, but certainly is now kind of more the predominant, I think, way that people go about things for now.
So what are you listening to nowadays? Like, even in general, it doesn't have to be hip hop. Like, what stuff that you kind of messing with these days?
I've been listening to a new Nipsey Hussle album. Few tracks on there I really like. I go between so many different genres and music. I like the song Soweto. I like Arya Star, Bad Vibes. I like Thames, Free Mind. I like her. But also I'd be listening to Jadakiss and Nas and Jay-Z. Big Crit, Price of Fame, one of my favorite songs.
Okay.
I'll listen to some La Russell sometimes. I like to really mix it up, and I'll switch between genres and styles, just depending on how I feel. I got Al Green on deck as always.
Nice.
Some Marvin Gaye, some Doors, some Beatles. So I'll do like little blocks of like maybe rock and then hip hop and jazz, and try to keep that fresh. This way, I feel like it makes doing music, makes doing my own music a little more fresh, because you get different sounds than if I just listen to hip hop or something like that,
Oh, the Naughty by Nature song is Uptown Anthem. That's that song. Yeah, Uptown Anthem. Yeah, and I was thinking Uptown, but I was thinking Uptown Bounce, like by Ziggy, and I was like, I know that's not the name of the track, but I was like, what is it? Yeah, Uptown Anthem. Yeah. But yeah, to go to your point, I mean, I'm kind of the same way. I mean, even especially, I'm not like, rhyming or writing rhymes and stuff like that. But like, even when you're, even like EPing a project, like, I definitely listen to a lot of different. I mean, that's just me in general, but I like to listen to something not just all hip hop. Like, it's funny you mentioned, like, I've had some Beatles in my rotation as of late. Like just Wham. I got into this, like, I love 80s pop. Love 80s pop music. So like I'll get in, like, and it's ironic. I started listening to the Wham because they have a song called Freedom too, and yeah, I love that song, and like, so I kind of had that on heavy rotation as of late. And then, I've also been watching a lot. I think 80s music videos are all so interesting, and what they put in these videos are kind of just interesting. And it also looking at visuals, and just like where we're at now with Instagram and TikTok and all this stuff are like what people are doing with their videos, like what artists are doing with music, like what are you portraying, like what are you capturing in your music, like, and you don't necessarily. And then I'm looking at some of these videos and I'm like, wow, okay, like this Wham Freedom. But George Michael's talking about a relationship he's having with his boyfriend, with a boyfriend. But the video is about them going to China for the first time and performing in China, and then you have all these images of them in China, like going through different, like in different areas of China. You have them performing in China. You have them playing actually football on a pitch. Them just like joking around, like on a day off in China. But when you listen to the lyrics of the song, he's talking about, hey, I don't care how many times you fuck up, like. Like I like, you could be there. I don't want your, I don't want freedom, because I want, he wants to be with the guy. And so it's interesting, when you listen to it. And I think I'm looking at now, even like with certain videos and certain like clips of like what things kind of go viral or what things like you kind of bring something that's kind of interesting or to the forefront of like what you're visually giving to people. But to me, I do feel like you should keep it within your values, so like what you're doing. And like, even when I would want to go back to something you were saying about like the Kendrick Lamar's, like Nipsey, like I think no matter what they do and why people love them, because they stood on, well, Nipsey stood, rest in peace Nipsey, but Kendrick, they pretty much stand on their values when it comes to their music. And I think that's a level of respect people can have over it. Obviously, their music is dope, just the quality of it's dope. But I feel like the undertone of the essence of it is like, it's value based,
Yeah, absolutely. And I always look forward to seeing where hip hop's going to take it, because, Jay-Z just did this run at Yankee Stadium. He's coming out with a documentary on HBO Max, September something. They just started promoting it with Rick Rubin.
Okay.
He might come out with a project. It's been a few years.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I would not be surprised.
So when people like that put out albums, culture shift.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't talk about the Nas albums, but he won his first Grammy more recently than any of the albums people talk about.
Right.
So a lot of the radio and Billboard doesn't actually affect necessarily award shows or culture per se, as it more affects the business aspect of getting records out there. Shout outs to Billboard. It's great to be on Billboard. If we could get on, that would be dope. Nothing against them, but truth be told, some of our favorite hip hop on Billboard didn't really win Grammys, as well as other of our favorite hip hop songs and albums did win Grammys, did top the chart.
Yeah.
And it's more so us, the culture, the listeners, the active participants, the people who choose to stand up and have a voice, and other people back them. Because a lot of times saying nothing is a stamp of approval. Saying you'll get on a track with someone, you don't need to say anything to them personally. They're gonna check your resume and make sure they want to be on a track with you because their reputation's on stake.
It's funny you mentioned about the whole, Billboard awards and all that, because I look at a group, that still, exists today, Public Enemy. And I remember when they came out, like, they weren't on the radio because of what they said, and everything that went about that. But, they had they still have a huge following, and it's still, and they still stick to like the value of the type of music that they record. Like they never, swayed away from that. I look at artists like, like De La Soul the same way. They kind of, they always been like the kind of this forefront of creativity, but and I think their value was always that creative, but it always stuck to hip hop. It didn't never stuck to like, oh, let me, I do feel like some artists you could tell are kind of trying to chase something rather than just being still in with who they are and just letting the listeners or the viewers get attracted to you rather than you trying to chase the listener or the viewer, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to De La Soul and shout out to Public Enemy, you know, innovators, pioneers, and legends.
Yeah, man. So what else do you have going on, man? So you have this album. You know, you're working on your album that you're going to release next year. Obviously, we've been doing stuff with the Freedom Project. Is there anything else that you have Thursdays, Thursdays? Is there anything we should be looking at? Anything else we should be looking out for, or any components of these projects that you're working on now that we should know more about or look out for?
Just looking to get some more performances done. We're gonna start performing the songs.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely something I want to do with Freedom as well. You know,
Mm-hmm.
get some performances in New York. Me, Majest. If C Boogie could come down from Connecticut and Stars of Beyond can come down from Connecticut.
They definitely could do that.
You know what I mean? Like, and we can get a show together. So right now, I feel where we're at with this project, that's kind of one of the next steps. Is let's get the songs in front of people. What could be a good idea, and I pitched this to Majest too, is since there are going to be a few of us, the people who are in the New York City area and who are available, what we could do is use other projects as well to fill in a 10, 15-minute space of Majest and SirHighlight versus, C-Book versus, all that stuff. And this way, it's a full show. It's fun. It's creative. It pushes the project that's out now and pushes some of the older projects, like the ones where all the proceeds go to Haiti.
Yeah,
Haiti can still use those proceeds, like
absolutely,
that.
man.
Yeah, so
That's another story of like situations going on down there. With like I don't know if you ever met Mackenzie, but he's a breaker from there, a dancer, and he had to move to a different town because his town was getting invaded and people were getting killed and stuff like that. Like so it's like. I mean, you look at all these places are beautiful places, but also sometimes there's unfortunate things that are happening in these places too. But I think what you're saying, yeah, I mean, that's a dope idea. I mean, I think definitely Eclipse and C-Book would be down for that. And I know that Shadow would probably be down for it now. I mean, they have a new project that they're releasing in September called Shadow Stars, I think it's called. Star Shadows. Like
nice.
it's not
Great
basically
name.
combining the two artists, Shadow
Yeah,
Agency
great
and Stars
name.
and Beyond. Yeah, so he produced it. Like I heard a couple of clips of a couple of joints, and I see they were just recording a music video. So yeah, that could be something as a collective, to do something pretty cool. And then Doomy's right down the road too in DC, which is not far either. So there's
Maybe we take a road trip down there and make something happen at Howard U. That would be dope and a great look for hip hop love. So
yeah.
I think one of the next steps in general for me and for this project is to get a performance going on, and get a bunch of the people who have been regulars with hip hop loves to do that. Even if it's just a 15-minute set, like I said. If it's longer, we just do some older projects. And I'll be getting into the studio probably in the next few weeks. We're going to start basically cleaning up some of the old tracks, maybe updating a couple verses, stuff like that, recording the new tracks, getting the features in there, because, you want to get the right people in there. I want to get the right woman to sing the hooks and the tracks. Even expanded my pen into writing some songs for singing, which I don't normally do. So how that comes out. I've done it a few times, but this is like a whole verse and a hook. I've never done a whole verse before. I've done hooks. So that's going to be pretty cool to see how that turns out. And yeah, we got some more singles we got to promote for Freedom. We're going to be rolling out some really big things.
Yep.
We got a lot of stuff behind the scenes, a lot of other videos of artists and breakers and dancers that we're going to be putting together. So
sure.
I'm really looking forward to how far we're going to take this Freedom project. I think this is just the beginning, and
absolutely,
the ball's about to get rolling and about to be a lot bigger than any of us planned, is what I think.
No doubt, man. Definitely. The titanium era is here, my man.
Yes, sir.
Where, as a matter of fact, I mean, I was just talking to Majest about. I was thinking last night. Was it what's it, Thursday? It was like Tuesday night, and I was like, I had to hit him up. I was like, yo, man, I think we should do a song called the Titanium Era. He was like, and I was like, yeah, I hit him. He's like, all right, yeah, let's talk about it this weekend. I was like, all right, cool.
It
So
should be on Unity.
yeah, exactly. That's where, yeah, that's why I started thinking about it. And I was talking about it. And I was like, yeah, it definitely should be something. And yeah, so where can everyone find you, like on social media? You know, on what platforms? Like, let people know.
Yeah, you can find me Instagram, SirHighlight, SirHighlight. TikTok the same. My YouTube page is SirHighlight718, representing Brooklyn always.
No doubt.
Yeah, you can find me on X at SirHighlight. I'm not very active on there. But basically, in general, you can find me at SirHighlight just about everywhere.
And the Thursdays is solely on Instagram?
It's on Instagram. It's on TikTok as well.
Okay. And
so that
Thursday
is like basically, you know, a free mixtape just for the people, just for the love of hip hop.
No doubt.
No subscription needed. None of that. It's all on there. You go back and check all the weeks. And you can't check all the weeks on TikTok, but you can on Instagram. I think TikTok came a couple dozen weeks later.
Okay.
And yeah, you'll be catching me at some shows. You'll be seeing the promotions. Definitely follow, like, subscribe. You know, go to the Freedom Project that's out. Follow me on Spotify. I'm on all the streaming platforms with some other singles. Shout out to Jamel Knight. We're going to be trying to get some sync opportunities, not only for Freedom and Time Is Now and some of our other singles, but my singles. So,
no doubt.
You know, looking forward to the future.
That's what's up. That's what's up, my man. Always a pleasure, my man. Yeah, man. SirHighlight in the building, Brooklyn. You know, yep. Hip hop loves. One of the
Harlem.
No doubt, no doubt.
And I gotta say, I'm so grateful for you and for Hip Hop Loves and everyone who participated in the project. You know, it's a real honor. Super grateful. Like I said, we got some real legends on this project alone. Tony Blackman, Hakeem Green, Wordsworth, you know.
Raz Austin from Coast Contra. Yeah, we got a bunch of cats.
Just so many to name. It's like Shabam Sadiq, you know what I mean?
Yep,
like
Shabam, yeah.
One after the other. So super grateful to be a part of the project, nonetheless, the executive producer. And it's all thanks to the Global Plug.
And I appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. I mean, appreciate you being a part of it, you know, and, you know, the energy and the efforts and everything that you put into the projects and what you've been doing over, you know, the years into now, you know, so it's much appreciated, bro. You know, it's an honor and privilege working with you, man. Collaborating.
All love.
Of course, my man. All right, man. This is another episode of HHL Mic Check Thursdays with my man Mike SirHighlight. Brooklyn representing, you know, thanks for taking the time out on this Thursday evening. We'll definitely get you on again. And I know, you know, you always do little pop-ups here and there on Thursdays anyway when other guests come on. So, you know, I know we'll definitely see you, man. But, you know, thanks again. Thanks to everyone who came to check us out. And we'll be back next week. Next week we have Tony Blackman will be on next week. Tony Blackman. Yeah, Tony Blackman will be on next week. And it's her birthday, too, so, you know, it'll be fun.
Oh, man, what?
Yeah, so if you got time to pop up, definitely check, you know, pull up, man. Yeah, so Tony will be on.
We'll do.
All right, man. Peace and love, everyone.
All right, brother.
Global Plug, SirHighlight, out.